very caring, funny, very bright. He had big dreams.
An emotional family still trying to grasp the death of 27-year-old Christian Toby Obumseli in what's being called a deadly domestic incident. It's a story that's making national headlines. It happened in an expensive Edgewater condo where the units cost millions of dollars.
Loved ones say the man was caring and had a great spirit. CBS 4's Trish Christakis joins us live from Miami with more. Trish?
Yeah, I spoke with Christian Obumseli's family earlier today, and they said he was a kind and soft-spoken man. They said they found out about his death when a medical examiner called them asking if they can donate his organs. Devastation, they say, doesn't come close to what they're feeling tonight.
They flew in from Texas, unfortunately learned of his death when a medical examiner contacted them requesting permission to donate the organs. That's how they learned of his sudden death.
Miami Police Department responded to a domestic violence incident at this apartment complex in Edgewater, where they say 27-year-old Christian Obumseli was stabbed with a knife. He later died at Jackson Memorial Hospital.
All they're looking for is justice. We know the suspect that was involved in this incident has not been arrested. I'm confident, having had a meeting with the state attorney's office, that they were very attentive. They answered all the necessary questions.
Miami PD says there was a woman on the scene with him. The family identified her as his girlfriend, and in their preliminary investigation determined that both Obumseli and the woman had been involved in a physical altercation. Obumseli's brother says he wants to see an arrest.
I do believe she is the killer, and she does need to be arrested.
Police have not made any arrests. CBS 4 News has learned the woman's name, but we are choosing not to identify her because this is a domestic violence investigation. The family of Obumseli says he was a kind man and had many life goals and aspirations.
Devastation doesn't quite describe what my family's experiencing right now. Yesterday, we finally told our 93-year-old grandmother that her grandson, who was expected to come home to Texas to visit for his 28th birthday, will no longer or ever be returning home.
And in a statement, the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office says that it will review the police department's evidence. Once this investigation is complete, they will then take appropriate action. Live in Miami, Trish Christakis, CBS 4 News.
Before we get into the main part of the commentary, let's make sure we add this. Being the child of black immigrants or coming to the U.S. as a black immigrant of a young age, there is a serious culture clash. And oftentimes the culture clash between your Yoruba or Hausa or Zulu or Igbo or Haitian or Jamaican or Bahamian or whatever black from the diaspora you are, whether you were born and raised here from immigrant parents or whether you came here at a very young age, the culture clash causes a lot of black people to date white, date non-black, but pretty much date white. We're not even adding that many of you already have a complex coming from your home countries anyway, or your parents have a complex coming from their home countries anyway. Then you add on to that the culture clash between your black diasporan culture, wherever it's from, and black Americans, right? And oftentimes what happens is that a lot of people think that if they can just get in the good graces of white people and be non-threatening and have a white spouse and move into a white suburb and close the door and, you know, let people get away with calling you the N-word and make sure to emphasize or stress your Zulu or Igbo last name, right? And make sure that you always remind people that you're not black American, you're not black American, you're not black American, right? Or as it's being called nowadays, ADOS or FBA. And what ends up happening is that means nothing, unfortunately. It means nothing. See, you're always only one angry black person away, right? Only one stereotype away. Excuse me, not one angry black person. You're only one angry white person away from being the N-word. And a lot of black immigrants or children of black immigrants have to find that out the hard way, the difficult way. You are only one angry white person away from being the N-word. It doesn't matter what you did with your life. And quite frankly, they might not even call you it. They'll just treat you like it. Right? You're only one angry white person away. You're only one bad joke away. You're only one time they cringe away from being an N-word. And there's a lot of black immigrants who worked hard, decades, trying to distance themselves from black Americans and from all the negative stereotypes that people associate with black Americans. And yet all it takes is one situation and a person calls you an N-word, and that's that. Or they let you know that they don't see you any different than the black people they were just making fun of with you about. So I'll pause right there. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the second part that's coming up. And let's get on with the main commentary. All right. So excuse the road noise. We are on the road, obviously. I will be driving, so bear with me. This is going to be keep the same energy, Mr. Z. So like I spoke about when Asia Maynard passed and when Lawrence Smith Field passed away, we're gonna say the same thing about the brother Toby, who was killed by a white girlfriend. Yeah, so black people really have to understand that with more and more of you dating and marrying out, you will be subject to what it means to be dating and marrying, especially white people in a white supremacist anti-black society. Have fun. Like, this is not me saying you deserve the worst. This is saying you know what this is, right? Like, because I do not believe that black people deserve these things that are happening to them, right? Even when they're using some of the most vile language against other black people. But what needs to also be understood is that you do live in an anti-black society, and you will be subject to what that means when you engage in relationships with white people who know how desperate you are to be with a white person, right? And so we all understand that white people can get away with killing people of color, primarily black people, right? So that's not even the issue. You fall in love with who you fall in love with, right? You date who you date, you marry who you marry. But when you use anti-black rhetoric, or when you retweet anti-black rhetoric because you feel a certain way about the black guys or the black girls that overlooked you, or you feel a certain way about black male behavior or black women behavior, fine. Understand the era we're living in. We're living in the era where your sentiments can easily be found on the internet, especially for you younger millennials and Gen Z who've been on Twitter, who've been on YouTube, who've been on Instagram for over a decade now, right? You have exposed yourself and your sentiments about things, right? Especially when people can see that maybe you haven't even evolved. Okay, let's say you said something over a decade ago, but it's clear that you haven't really evolved from those thoughts and feelings. Yeah. You can't expect the black community to be marching and protesting for you after you've said vile things about black men or black women. Now, we understand these things are happening to you and the cops are not investigating simply because you're black. It has nothing really to do with your horrid ideas about other black people, right? We understand that, right? You're black, that's why this happened to you. But you didn't make it any better because of your ideas about other black people, which, by the way, leaks into your ideas about non-black people, right? Maybe if you didn't think so horribly about black men or about black women, maybe you would have never found yourself in this situation. Possibly, right? So, you know, this is sad that this young man, you know, died at her hands. She claims she's gonna kill herself, right? And she literally pulled the white girl thing throughout the whole entire endeavor, right? Kills him, claims self-defense, cops come arrest her, then she acts crazy, and then next thing we know, she's what, at a bar or a restaurant with her father or something like that, from my understanding. Like, if that, like, this is straight white girl stuff, right? But once again, like Toby, that's why you were with her, right? Because she wasn't a sister and she didn't exhibit all those negative tendencies. Yeah, what she's doing is exhibiting all the negative white girl tendencies. Apparently she was hitting on him, right? Hitting on him, kills him, claims self-defense, plays crazy, and then goes and like parties it up with her father and whatnot afterward. Literally, like, and she said, oh, she dates rich black guys. Like, the girl literally clicked off like every negative stereotype about white women. Playing damsel in distress after you do something horrendous, right? Like, black people, all right, you're gonna insult other black people for not being white men or not being white women. Fine. When you end up in the situation that you're disparaging other black people for, right? So if you're disparaging black men for not building Wakanda and not being these strong, uber wealthy, uber powerful, uber influential men like white men, and you go and date a white man, and he does something horrendous to you, and then he flexes his whiteness, right? So that influence, that connection, all the things you left the black man for, when the white dude flexes that to get away from whatever negative thing he did to you, understand all the things you left black men for, that's what he did. Same thing for black men. If you're saying these white women, they're so feminine and they're so kind and they're so, you know, they know how to play the game and they're so disciplined, all right, when a white woman does something horrendous to you and she flexes her whiteness to get out of it, understand, like, you literally did sign up for that. Like, I'm not saying that you deserve death. I really am not one of those people. I do not think people deserve death, right? But you did put this out in the universe, and I'm not even the cosmic karma type of person, but you did say you wanted to be with these type of people because they exhibit these type of qualities and their communities exhibit these type of strengths and ideas and ideologies. Well, when those strengths, ideas, and ideologies bite you in the rear end, then understand that that is what it is. You literally died at the hands of the same type of people that you were worshiping, practically, right? I will not be one of those people that's quiet on this just because this was a black man. No. Black people need to know better. If you're gonna go and date out and marry out, fine, but you're letting the entire world, including the people you're dating and marrying, know how much you despise other black people. And if I'm a white dude and you give me the impression that nobody's gonna have your back if something negative happens to you, if I'm a white woman and you give me the impression that you really despise black women, right? I understand that if I could do the worst to you. That's what that is, right? You don't have the backing of your community, nor do you want it. And for many of you, it's all about insulting other black people, right? This is how y'all portray yourselves. You don't like other black people. Everybody knows it, including your non-black spouse. And so when you end up in the situation you end up with your non-black spouse, well, it makes it very difficult to defend you and advocate for you when it's very clear what you think about other black people. And Toby made plenty of disparaging comments and retweeted disparaging comments, right? I understand that he said what he said when he was 16, but even with that, he retweeted some negative things all the way up until last year. So we'll pause right there. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Black people, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Because it's clear, everybody knows you're not dating them because you love them. Everybody knows that y'all have a insatiable inferiority complex and hatred of your own people, and that's why you're dating them. It is becoming profoundly clear now. Even the white dudes on Twitter are saying, why are all these radical black feminists or radical black women dating nothing but white dudes? Those are white men saying that. The black community swear these other people don't know. They know. And they'll take advantage of you and do what they want to do with you and then discard you. Because way more black people have had sex with white people than there are married to white people. In other words, they have sex with you and chill with you and smoke with you and drink with you for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, maybe a year, and then discard you. And when I talk to you, you say it was a relationship. That's not what that white boy call it. That's not what that white girl call it. Right? So I'll pause right there, truly. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Mr. Z out.